We're here with Garrett Brown, Penn State DuBois baseball coach. Garrett, we talked a lot about we chatted and texted about Sunday. Sunday was a very good day in the Rhodes family and Penn State DuBois. Before we talk a lot about Penn State DuBois, we'll give a shout out to Jamison. He got a win. LaRose swept Pitt Bradford yesterday. I was sharing that with you, and you guys had a huge day with a doubleheader split or doubleheader sweep to get yourself a PSUAC Western Division champion. Congratulations, and nice having you on.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Rich. It was quite the weekend, that's for sure. And shout out to Jameson as well, man. I'm super happy for him, and I know his career is coming to an end, but it's always good to see these D9 guys, go to college and compete at the highest levels.
Wins over Penn State Beaver yesterday, 6-4 and 8-2. And here I'm going to start with an interesting question. And we'll get to the baseball stuff. What happened on the field? Alumni Day sweep, 6-4 and 8-2 over Penn State Beaver. But you have a doubleheader tomorrow, non-conference against Houghton College right there at Showers Field. What are you doing in practice? What makes a good baseball practice, and what's the plans tonight as you get ready to start that?
Oh yeah, I mean it's nothing special, Rich. It's just baseball can be monotonous. Practices can be monotonous, but I think that monotony is what makes teams really good. You stick with the same drills. You drill, game-like situations. You practice like you play, and we don't really look at who. Obviously, we watch film and stuff like that, but we just try and play our best baseball. We compete to the max. So really looking at tomorrow's games, they're just tune-up games. They're just tune-up games for the conference weekend. Give guys kind of their last opportunity to really, show me. That way we can, decipher where our depth chart's at going into the postseason. And these guys are they're so much fun to be around. They really are. They make coaching easy. They work their tails off every practice. All the credit really goes to them. I know they're a reflection of me, but at the same time, these guys truly love each other. They love each other. They love ball. They work their butts off, and they deserve everything they're getting. They truly do. And we clinched the West, and that's great, but that's not our goals. That's not what we're really looking for. We're looking for bigger and better things here coming up.
So practically speaking, you say we. Yeah. Give me your coaches. What are they going to be doing tonight? You have a guy, working a short bullpen with the guys that might be throwing tomorrow. Do you have somebody in the hitting cage? You obviously have field situations. What will that kind of look like tonight without being too specific? But you have a lot of things going on at the same time, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just roll in and we do what we got to do to get ready. I got Coach Nez. He's going to be working with the pitchers. He always takes the pitchers down. I make sure that they're getting their flat grounds in the day before a game. Some of my pitchers like to throw a short bullpen, the day before a game. They really have their own routine. I know some coaches, set a routine for their athletes. That's not everybody's the same. Not everybody recovers the same. Some people are tender, and I'm not going to make a guy throw a bullpen if he's tender, so we communicate so much as a coaching staff, and I communicate every day with my players on how they're feeling, what they need to do to get prepared for the weekend or even tomorrow. So Nez kind of takes the pitching side of things. Coach Gornati, he's coaching St. Mary's baseball, so it's tough. TJ's around as much as he can be, and I appreciate him being around. But he's got a son, and his son family comes first. It always comes first. So he shows up when he can, and he's always helping me throw BP, hitting fungos. And then Coach Gaz, he he really just kind of floats around. He floats around and he brings a lot of levity to the guys by just, making sure they're loose, making sure they're having fun, smiling, enjoying practice. Like I said, it can get monotonous, and, you got to love the game. You got to love the game to get better every single day with the same reps, and our practices are kind of the same thing every day. Yeah, we mix some things up here and there and might have a little bit of fun, but really it's just sticking to the basics and continuing to get reps in. And just like I tell the guys, I need you guys to be better every day. I need your best stuff every single day, and I need you guys to compete with one another and bring out the best versions of each other every single day. And I think to this point, I can say that we've done that.
Mike Nesbitt is who you're calling Nez. We all call him Nez. Mike Nesbitt, longtime coach. TJ Gornati, which I had a blast covering him in his younger days, former Tri-County Sunday Player of the Year at St. Mary's.
Yep.
And you mentioned Jeff Gasberry as well. Watched him win a state title for DuBois Central Catholic years ago. I'm trying to think if he got the game-winning hit for them that year. I better not think out loud. I might be wrong, or I might be right. I'm not sure. Anyhow, and
Here,
then Garrett,
I'll just say one thing about all them coaches, right?
Yes.
And I don't mean to interrupt you.
No.
But you mentioned all these great things about the coaches, right? They're winners, and that's what we surround ourselves with as winners. And, that's just to toot their horn a little bit, but they deserve that. They help me. They do everything they can for the guys, and they're winners, and I like to win.
Hey, you're 26-4 going in, and again, it's not about the record right now. It's about what you guys can do the rest of the way, as you made it very clear. 17-3 in the conference. And this is something, and again, getting some background before we started. You started at IUP. You matriculated back to town. You were a heck of a football player. You rushed for over 1,600 yards in high school, and then you come back to Penn State DuBois to wrestle. And now you have been with this program since the baseball team restarted. The program had origins back in the 80s and 90s. And now you've been with this program as a player or coach ever since. And Mike Caleri, we haven't even said his name yet. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about
Tom Caleri.
Mike, where did I get that? Tom Caleri. We certainly have time to talk about Tom. And I'm going to throw this picture up right now. So let's just get it out of the way, because the tradition is deep, and it's something you're very proud of. That's the picture that was taken yesterday at the Alumni Day, and it's a tremendous tribute to the guys that have been with this program ever since. And I'm sure it absolutely motivates you to keep it going. But explain how you got from where, you can spend as much time as you want, Coach. Yeah. How you got from where you were as a hopeful wrestler who did wrestle at Penn State DuBois to now sitting here in year 11 with the program as a player or a baseball coach. What's it been like? How's that ride been? And Tom obviously played a huge part of that.
Yeah. People who know me know I don't like to talk about myself, but I guess I kind of have to, being on this show with you. Man, it's been a crazy ride, honestly. So many highs, so many lows, so many in-betweens, right? It's been very special. I've found out so much about myself, that I never knew. And I think it all starts back when I was 13 years old. Coach Caleri, had me on his travel baseball team, and he took me under his wing like a son. And I trusted him more than I trusted anybody in the world. And he believed in me. And I was pretty insecure as a younger kid, just didn't really believe in myself too much. And he always instilled that belief in me. So I give him a ton of credit for who I am as a person. I reach out to him dang near every day. We still talk ball. We still talk about the program. And he still believes. He still instills that confidence in me. But yeah, it's just been a crazy ride, from going to IUP, just as a student. I wanted to be a phys ed teacher like Coach Kaleri. And I got to IUP and I realized, it's a little too big for me. Just wasn't making good decisions, and I needed to get out of there sooner than later. So I was trying to walk on the football team in the fall, and I never heard anything from them. And I get a call about 2 days before I leave campus, and Coach Signetti gives me a call.
Now
And
that's
he's
wait, let's get it right. The Signetti that we have been hearing about a lot since
no,
Indiana.
it's
a different
his
one.
it's
It's
his
the family.
Yes, it's the family. He gives me a call. Honestly, I picked up the phone. I'm in my dorm room at the time with my roommate who was also from DuBois, and I was like, "Who's this number?" And I answered, and it's like, "Hey, is this Garrett Brown? This is Coach Signetti with IUP football. We'd love to have you come down and walk on the football team in the spring." And at the time, I think I was just kind of shocked. And I already had my decision made. Like, I was leaving in 2 days, so I was just like, you know what, I appreciate the opportunity. But I'm heading home in 2 days and I'm not coming back. And I was very genuine about it, and I let him know how much I appreciated the opportunity. But it just wasn't right for me. It really just wasn't right for me. And then I took a gap year because I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And again, my savior came back, and it was Tom Kaleri, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you look into Penn State DuBois?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no. Like, I don't think I want to go back to school at this time." And it was like a weekly conversation with him. And then I just really, honestly, the wrestling national tournament happened. I watched Brock Zackerl, all Tom Slay, all my buddies, really good friends having success at the highest level of sports. And I competed with these guys growing up. And I just really I just bet on myself. I'm like, what do I have to lose? I'm not going to be able to do this when I'm 26 years old. I got to do it now if I'm going to do it. And I jumped in and I started training for wrestling for the following season. And Dave Orr was my wrestling coach at the time. And I made a commitment to wrestling. And I was like, I'm going to win a national championship. Even though it's not Division I, Division II, or Division III, wrestling's wrestling. And there's good wrestlers all across the country. So I trained my butt off 2 times a day, lost 32 pounds that I probably didn't have, but it was the best shape I've ever been in my life. It truly was. And it just, I did great. I won our regional tournament. I think I had 3 losses. I knocked off the number 2 kid in the nation going into the tournament, and I was feeling good about myself, and I was in a really good place mentally until it was the quarterfinals at the national tournament, and I got beat. And again, Coach Kaleri, he knew I was hurting because he knew how bad I wanted it, and he checked in on me, and I was a wreck. And it was just a next best thing mentality. And I came back through the losers bracket, and I lost in the blood rounds again. And I was truly just heartbroken. I'm down in Florida, my family's down there. They flew the whole way down to Florida to watch me wrestle. And I lost. I didn't achieve my goal. And then after that, the team kind of fell apart. Guys graduated. And Tom calls me and he's like, "Hey, you want to play baseball?" And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if I can field a ground ball right now. I just put on 20 pounds in about 2 days. so, so I had a really tough 2 weeks of baseball before I got in baseball shape. But the weight shed off me, and that's kind of when I went all in on baseball, and that's kind of how everything just transpired into Penn State DuBois baseball.
That's a great story, Garrett, and 4 national titles for this program. It's a small college World Series. DuBois has been hosting it for how long now?
Oh man, I want to say I'm looking out here at the signs out there. 2018. I'd probably say it's been 8 years, 8 years, 8 years.
Those 4 national titles is something that that's the focus. Even as you get to start this postseason, 5 conference titles, 4 championships. I think the last one was 2023, right? So you guys are really trying to finish strong now. And I guess let's get into the nuts and bolts of this roster. Yeah. What's been the key to success this year, and what has to happen in these tournament situations, because you have to have some good pitching and obviously clutch hitting and everything like that. But it starts with the pitching, and the numbers show me that there might be something there on paper that gives you guys a chance, right?
I'd say so. I'd like to think so. I think our strength has always been pitching and defense. And it just turns out this year that we have some dang good hitters. We're pretty deep hitting, but when it comes to names, I mean, from McLean Welshans, a kid who, struggled his first 3 years, and this year he just comes in so confident, and he had something to prove to himself, and he just has been pounding the zone. I think he just broke a school record last week. He had 14 punch outs in a game, threw a complete game shutout against Greater Allegheny. He
struck out 45 in 31 innings, 6 walks, and you've only, as a staff, have walked 48 guys in 25 games. That's less than 2 a game. That's where you start to win games that way.
That's what we preach, man. Like, I tell the guys, when they're struggling, see how far they can hit it. Like everybody wants to see a home run, so challenge them, compete, see how far they can hit it. But ultimately, the guys hit their spots, whatever pitches I call, whatever our catcher calls, that's the commitment. That's the commitment. That's the trust that we have in our team. Solid defense, solid pitching, and our pitching is going to take us as far as we want to go. McLean, you got Austin Mitchell, you got Travis Keister, who has stepped up like crazy. I mean, he on Tuesday he threw a complete game against Shenango, had 12 punch outs, and then he threw yesterday to come in and shut the door against Beaver in game 2, and he saw 10 batters and struck out 9 of them.
Travis Keister, former travel ball teammate of Jamison Rhodes.
Yeah,
I am very familiar with his potential, and it's not potential because he's getting it done.
He's getting it done. Yeah. I mean, I could name drop so many people. Zach Witherow. I know Zach Terracorda's not having the senior season he would like to have, but if I get the freshman Zach Terracorda in the postseason, I'm not trying to put bulletin board material out there, but we're going to be a tough team to beat. We're going to be a tough team to beat, and that's just a testament to these guys and how hard they work, and trusting me, trusting our coaching staff, and doing whatever it takes for the guy behind them, whatever it takes to get the job done. And that's just kind of been our motto since we started this program, is just find ways to win. Good teams find ways to win, and just get gritty and get tough. Just get gritty and get tough.
Looking down your among your regulars, you got Isaac Terracorda hitting 500, Lucas Colton 492, Caleb Stetler 484, Grant Lillard 480, Alex Gavlock 476. My gosh. And then there's other guys you keep reading down. There's some good lumber there.
It's impressive, man. Like I said, these guys truly do it for each other. I think it's really our approach, and I'm not going to talk too much about that stuff because I don't know who's going to see this, but we can talk about that on the side. But and it's just freedom. I want these guys to have fun. I want these guys to compete their hardest. And I think when you do that, you get the best version of your players. The numbers are – I know people look at numbers. Like Isaac Terracorda hitting 500 that's crazy for college baseball. I don't care what level you're at. And then to have 7, 8, 9, 10 guys hitting in the 400s, that's crazy. Baseball is not an easy sport. But I think it just shows that like these guys just truly do it for each other. Like if it's a hit and run, like we get hits off hit and runs. So if I put a hit and run on and they execute it, they get a base hit, So it's just like it's tough when you look at stats because I'm not a stat guy. Right. I care about one column, and that's the left-handed column that has a W above it. And I preached that to my guys all year, and I think that's really hit home with them. And it allows them to compete freely and compete their butts off. And, that's why they have the success. It's not from me. It's them. It's always them. It always has been them. So I'm just proud of the way they're competing right now.
So give me the schedule of the conference. What's the schedule that as of right now, and what do you have to do to get through this weekend to get to the College World Series, the Small College World Series?
Yeah, so we have a bye. Since we got the 1 seed in the West, we have a bye. But the way that the conference is working this year, with it being the last year for a lot of us campuses, the first day they're trying to eliminate 7 teams. So there's going to be 7 games, and it's single elimination. So even though we have a bye, some teams have to win 2 games. We're fortunate enough to get that bye. So a team has to play into us, but if we lose that game, our conference tournament's over. So
it's a different format.
Oh, it's a different format for sure. And we're not worried about that. We're just here to play ball. We're going to compete our butts off like we do every time. But we're going to have the winner of, I believe it's Penn State Scranton and Penn State Fayette.
And what day?
That would be Friday night at 8:00 at night.
Right here at Showers, Friday night.
At Showers Field. I'm sure it's going to be pretty packed. It's a conference game. There's going to be a ton of people in town. There's going to be teams scouting each other. Right. It's going to be really fun. I love seeing the community come out and these guys getting to experience a great college baseball atmosphere. And the city of DuBois does that for us.
We can talk a lot about what where we're at now, but the fact is this is it for, I believe, 6 of the 11 teams in the conference. Penn State shutting down campuses, DuBois obviously on that list. How has that changed this year for you guys on how you're approaching each game, and especially as the season winds down? It's got to be something there that you guys are playing for. You want to go out literally as the champions.
Yeah.
And there's got to be emotions. There's got to be, I'm sure at some point there was anger, but but now it's probably about as emotional as it gets. How do you control all that, and how do you try to funnel it in the right direction?
Yeah. I could get emotional right now talking about it, Rich, but I won't, because I preach to the guys, be where your feet are. And I try to do that myself. It's tough as a coach when you're trying to lay out pitching and plan this, and you're thinking about the future. And what are these guys thinking about? Are they thinking about their next home? But they're not. I can promise you that these guys are all in it together. They want to go out on top. We don't even talk about it. Truly, we don't talk about it. If I tell the guys if they want to talk to me about what their plans are for the future, I'm the assistant AD throughout the day. You can come to my office and I can talk about it there. But when we're at the ball field, we're talking about Penn State DuBois baseball and what we got to do to win a championship. And these guys have bought into that mindset. We got a great group of seniors, and the young guys want to do it for the seniors as bad as the seniors want it themselves. So just staying grounded, being where our feet are, and just continuing to enjoy the ride, man. It's been a crazy few years, with all the whisper about the campus closure, and then it leaks out, last year at the World Series, and it's like, what the heck, man? Like, yes, there was anger. There still is anger.
In the conference, not just in DuBois, right?
Yeah.
There's anger in the conference. I think a lot of teams.
Yeah, like great programs. Monalto, great program. Penn State Shenango, great program. And there's a lot of great programs. I'm not just speaking from just the teams that are really good. Like GA is really good, and the whole East right now is really good. Beaver's on the come up, but there's anger, that's just human nature. Especially for myself. Like, this is where I wanted to retire. I wanted to retire baseball coach here. I wanted to build my family here. And I wanted to be the athletic director here in the future. And, those plans kind of fall through. And I guess that's why, you just got to put some faith in the man above and trust that God has a plan for all of us. And, opportunities come and go, and, just always just work hard, and somebody will see the good in you, and they're going to take a shot on you, so I'm not looking forward to it being over. I'm just looking forward to where these guys are going to end up, what their careers are going to end like, and where my next opportunity is, because I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just being where my feet are.
If this team is playing for the championship this weekend, what time is that game? Assuming the weather holds, it looks like the weather will be okay. It won't be a great weekend of temperature-wise.
Yeah, but Pennsylvania baseball.
When is the championship game?
So the championship game would be Sunday at Showers Field. There's it'd be at, I believe, it's at 12:45 in the afternoon, and then there's an if necessary game at 3:30 right after that. So we're hoping to be playing at 12:45 on Sunday, and hopefully it's a beautiful Sunday for the community and, some locals to come out and just enjoy us putting on a show one last time in the PSUAC conference.
If you don't win it, there is still a chance for teams that don't win this tournament to go to the Small College World Series.
Yeah,
that's in 2 weeks. What's the dates for the World Series?
I believe they're the 10th through the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have like a week off because that's like finals week for most schools.
Right.
And it's tough because during finals week, you're not allowed to practice for like the first 3 days. And it's like, well, this is the time we need to be sharp, but I'm not allowed to have an organized practice, but I know my guys, and I know that they're going to be down here at the ball field getting their reps in and getting their swings in, because we're not leaving any stone unturned this year. Like I've told them all year, just compete your butts off, work hard, and wherever the cards fall, the cards fall, and we're going to be able to live with ourselves at the end of the day, knowing we did everything we possibly could to win a championship. But we got to get back what's ours, personally. I know that's bulletin board material and that's fine. But we've ran the conference for, the last 10 years for the most part, and to go out on top would be special. Would be really special.
Garrett, awesome chat. Congratulations on everything you guys have accomplished as a program. We're all proud of you. It's D9 natives and then some. We know that. And let's have a couple good weeks here of fun, more baseball. How about it?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on, Rich. It's been an honor. And yeah, let's go win one.